The Lagos state government has admitted that more than 30% of its workforce on state-sponsored trainings abroad failed to return at the completion of their programs. State Commissioner for Establishments and Training Afolabi Ayontayo said as a way of improving the human capacity development of its staff, the state government organizes training programs abroad for them. While the commissioner lamented that some of the staff used the opportunity to elope and refused to return. According to him, a total of 23,420 staff members benefited from various training interventions between May 2022 and December last year. Within the same period, over 185 training programs were organized, which cut across multiple cadres, skill levels, and thematic areas relevant to public sector efficiency, leadership development, and regulatory compliance. Rise News analyst Dayo Shibuale joins us now to discuss the concerns raised by the Commissioner over this matter. It's good to have you with us, Mr. Shibuale, as always.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here, Suja.
So why wait till, that level of people leaving based on, all the trainings you send them to, and at the end of the day, it's becoming, problematic for the civil service state.
You look at the number, 8,000. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Some states don't have people up to 8,000 to train, not to talk of people now absconding. See, to separate, there is what they call in the stock exchange, insider trading. The banking industry, you see, in banking, you see if you have a crime, the inspectors will tell you, the police will tell you, there must be an insider involved. That's collusion. 8,000 is a massive number. And then again, look at the figures reeled out by the commissioner. It will seem there's even overtraining going on there. You get me? Because if you train so many people, if they go abroad or even locally, so many times on training, where will they practice what they are be trained about?
And at the expense of the ministries themselves as well.
But then, see, I can explain that. Lagos State is about one of the most prosperous states. And since the time of Johnson, the first military governor,
yes,
and Jakwande, they've been very much interested in training their staff along, the line of the Western Region Public Service under Chief Obafemi Awolowo. So it's a very, very prosperous state. In fact, you see, even more prosperous than the federal government. When I was starting work, I started at the Federal Ministry of Establishment. Okay. Well, I didn't want to work in any state, so I thought it was beneath us. But then, later, we had 12 states then, and later we discovered that those bureaucrats or civil servants who worked in Lagos State, you get me, had much challenges and were well looked after, better than those even in the Federal Public Service. So this issue is one that the commissioner should look inside. You see, some generals, when they had a meeting, their boss told them, you have seen the enemy and the enemy is us. There is insider collusion in this matter. And then, you see, you want to wonder how to be solved. My initial take is that they should look inwards. And they will have problems there. Because Lagos is a state where people value education seriously. So going abroad is important to them. But going abroad and not coming back is criminal. It is illegal. And they should find a way to track that down. Let's leave it at that.
Also, Mr. Shibuale, your points about insider collusion, duly noted, and what you mentioned about not returning is criminal. Right. But going off of what Nihi raised earlier, why the fact that it was allowed to persist, because they say what you permit will persist. But the first time it must have happened, it was not checked, and probably emboldened the subsequent trainees who left and never returned. Do you think it was a case of oversight or just turning a blind eye when that initially happened?
Well, that's better. it could be partly turning a blind eye. But then, you see, the collusion is strong. And I will tell you how the collusion can persist or persist. You see, Lagos is a place where family connections matter. And if you are in the civil service, and I see somehow it has been established as a norm for people to go and not come back. Do you see that? Yeah. Because if you have massive 8,000 not coming back, somebody is looking sideways. But you see, they should find a way to nip it in the bud. And that is charging people to court, identifying how this, because they are exploiting loopholes in the training program. Yes. If you want to go to a program, you fill some forms, it will serve a duration, and then they should put it in the forms now that if you go abroad and you don't come back, you should be ready to face prosecution. It's like using federal government scholarship. If you don't use it for the course you are given, the government will prosecute you. And if you don't turn up, and it is in the form, if you don't turn up at the doorstep of the ministry or the civil service that sponsored you, they can take you to court just to deter. But you say they will run into obstacles there because I say Lagos, the families are closely knit. And even if you see a surname, you think it's not connected to this or the other, you are fooling yourself. You get me? Because Lagos is a place where you have children from the same father, but having different mothers. And they live cohesively, you get me? And happily, I dare say, like a monogamous family. Yeah. Is part of the culture of Lagos. So if one person in my family gets involved in this sort of thing, I mean, it's quite easy to spring him off. So it is the duty of government now to create a deterrent, a punishment, something to deter people, so that they will not want to do it. You have to make example of some people. And they should target that 8,000, target it and bring it down, and make sure it does not increase.
Indeed,
yes.
Mr. Shobowale, and of course, you've emphasized on the issue of collusion, and you think that existing laws are probably not enough for that deterrence you've raised right now.
I'm sure the laws are there. It's the application now. The application. And the fact that, you see, people think if you... But anyway, there is a solution inside. They are going to the US, they are going to Britain. Those people are closing their borders now. You see what Trump is doing? They will send them to jail or send them back. You get me? Even in Britain, Labour, which has just won, you get me? They say the Labour PM said they are turning their country into an island of strangers. People immigrate, they don't integrate. You get me? So they are making how to get visa. They are making it difficult. So the thing will abate. Will abate. Hopefully.
Hopefully, Mr. Shobowale. Yes. But would you also recommend potential introduction of like policy interventions, bonds and guarantees that might also help?
Will be there. They are exploiting them. That's why they are not coming back. The bonds are there. If they want to prosecute them, they can prosecute them. Because you can't go on course without some commitment that you will, it is unheard of that you will go on course and don't come back. And if up to about 8,000 people have done that, then it seems as the norm. It is criminality.
Unfortunately, it's a conduit
not
pipe,
only,
that's funds that could be used elsewhere.
That's right.
Unfortunately, just
I started out. It's a very prosperous state.
Yes, but...
And there's almost overtraining. You see the figures. They want the figures to sound impressive, but see, if you have 8,000 not returning, why are you pursuing this sort of action?
On the final note, Mr. Shobowale, what fundamental labor market conditions must change to probably reverse this covert brain drain trend?
What do you mean by labor conditions?
This is a very favorable.
This is industrial. This is a very favorable labor condition. You have been trained, and you don't come back. So it's not an industrial relationship, it's criminality. They should be prosecuted. The government has been very magnanimous. If you talk of industrial relations, it's integrative. You are training your staff so that they can perform better and then they're exploiting that. It's criminality. Yep. Government should take action.
Indeed. Well said, Mr. Dayo Shibo, our Rise News analyst. Many thanks for your thoughts on those issues. As always, good to have you with us.